I'm healthy. If you clicked on this video, you're interested in whether or not you should be losing weight. Now, if your doctor says you probably should. I'm not going to contradict that. But there's lots of things when thinking about it or going through life where people will say things that kind of gloss over the details, the benefits of doing so. So the first thing I'll talk about is aches and pains. Everything will just get a lot easier. As you go lower, you're generally going to tend towards healthier choices as you learn to lose weight and how it works. And as you lighten your load, because right now, if you're bigger, your bones, your muscles, everything is kind of always under strain, even when you don't feel like it, which can lead to inflammation. And the thing with inflammation is your brain gets used to feeling pain, even when you don't feel the pain, and everything else starts hurting even more as well. So, for instance, I have back pain. That is in my first video. Losing weight is a big part of that. I used to have super bad knees. That meant that standing up hurt, going upstairs hurt. And because I was heavier, working on those areas was just a bit more difficult because body weight exercises kind of depends on your body weight. If you're heavier, it's going to be more going on it. So they kind of have a higher base level of weight going on them. Now, to be clear, because I haven't really gone into my sort of history with this, I went from completely sedentary for most of my life. So in the last 2 years, I've gone quite active as part of this weight loss journey. So sedentary to active, went from quite obese, about 100 kilos, down to about 59, 60 kilos. So that's about, is it 88 pounds? I don't know the conversion. 88 pounds of weight loss. I've gained a bit of muscle. I'm not big, but I'm pretty lean. I like to think anyway. And I've basically gone through the whole gamut of things you could be and sort of states you could be in. I've noticed a lot of differences in my life as I've lost weight, and I hopefully sharing them with you will convince you whether or not you should, because you don't have to. You never have to. If you're happy where you are, then maybe stay where you are. But maybe things are affecting you in ways that you don't really notice. So for instance, people treat you nicer. That's just a simple fact of it. As you lose weight, people will start to notice you more and treat you more like a human being. Cashiers will talk to you. People just that you meet around town or need help or whatever will feel you're more approachable. They will talk to you. I've had women for the first time in my life be very unsubtle. I've had interest before, but not as unsubtle as I've experienced. Only a couple of times, admittedly, that they just would not stop staring at me. The first time it happened, I remember, I was a grumpy fuck that day. I had not eaten much and I was in pain. I was in the gym and I was basically just there to let out my frustrations. And this woman kept fucking looking at me. It took me a while to realise it wasn't because I had ketchup or something on my face, which happens a lot more often than I wish it did. What else is there? As you lose weight, looking good gets easier in the sense that, how will I explain this? So let's use an analogy, right? If you've got a nice swanky apartment in the middle of the city, everything's white and black, and whoever the modern styling is, lovely cupboards, lovely oven, lovely kitchen, right? If you want to dress it up for Christmas, you can kind of do whatever. You can go candy canes, it could look a bit shit, but because the apartment's so good, it kind of will work. If you live in a more normal house with scuffs on the doors, bad outlets occasionally, maybe some ripped up rug from a pet a few years ago, when you are decorating for Christmas, you kind of have to put a little bit more effort in if you want it to look truly good, because you need to kind of draw the eye away from the imperfections. And that's true with ourselves as well. So when you're bigger, if you are interested in fashion and stuff, or looking good, you've got to kind of gravitate towards two modes. You've either I don't give a shit anymore mode, which is your sweatpants with the curry stains and the massive graphic t-shirt, or you've got the perfect mode where your hair looks good, your shaving looks good, your shirts have the right logos, the right style of logos, the right font size, they have the right fit for you, they have the right patterns to slim you down, they have the right colours to make you both conspicuous but inconspicuous. You have a lot more thought into it, whereas as you sort of have a better baseline because you lose weight. You just look better in general in sort of whatever you wear. Whatever you wear becomes your old style. And when talking about styles, if you're going for a more out there style, like I could go goth. It wouldn't suit me. It would look pretty bad, but I could go goth. And I would just look like someone trying an outrageous style. When you're bigger and you try an outrageous style, it becomes a bit more of a I've got to have everything else perfect kind of game, because a few days without grooming, a few days without makeup, not knowing enough about skincare or hairstyling or fashion styling, and you'll very quickly look like the fat greasy one, which isn't good when you realise it about yourself. And it's not just other people's perceptions. This sort of stuff you notice about yourself, and the big thing is that when you're bigger, your brain kind of finds a middle ground. So when I was bigger, and hopefully I'm putting pictures of myself when I'm bigger around here, looking in the mirror, I looked basically the same as I do now, just a bit softer. Because your brain kind of finds a middle ground. But there are clues that something's going wrong. There's a bit of disconnect. For instance, I went on a little arc of looking into why all my pictures just didn't look like me. They didn't look like what I saw in the mirror. They looked like someone else, and I had to kind of get used to people not taking pictures, or I researched into different camera focal lengths, which do make a difference. But the difference is a lot more fundamental than that. It was purely reality, sort of being shoved in your face. And even still, your brain will still find the middle ground between that reality and yourself. So for instance, there's some pictures, hopefully I'm showing them here, that when I took them, I remember thinking, wow, I'm getting really good at angles, getting really good at like learning how to look better in pictures. But now I look at them and I can see I was pretty chubby there still. There have been pictures where I thought they were good, and I've looked at them now, and I've genuinely not recognised the picture or myself in it, because I've had to ask someone like, who the fuck is that? And then who the fuck is that? It's me. It is very weird to go through. And sort of completely different, back to the exercising area. As you lose weight, you've got less insulation, which does mean generally things are colder. So when I was heavier, I used to sweat quite a fucking lot. I still kind of do. But if I go to an event now, like a busy event, crowded event, music festival, or pub, or clubbing, although I don't really go clubbing, I have to worry less about being the fat sweaty one, because generally everything's colder. Being in a crowd isn't as big of an issue. I have to worry less about, I hope they have air conditioning there so I don't turn into a slobbery mess, because generally I probably won't. And new exercises, like recently I've been trying swimming. I look like a fucking drowned rat, but I'm not scared of trying new things because I'm lighter and therefore it's easier to try it. If I don't want to do something, it's a lot more because I'm a lazy piece of shit than it is that there's a bit of, see that? Oh god, I gotta do something. That sort of infects everything you do when you're bigger. Going up the stairs, annoying as fuck. But it's not just simple as like stuff like that, more physical tasks like going up the stairs. Getting up, if you've sat down and you now need to get up to clean or hoover or whatever, there's just that, there, that's sort of holding you back. Oh god, I gotta do this. Oh god, I gotta do that. Which isn't healthy. See, a lot of this stuff sort of snowballs into itself. So you do that, you feel like shit, so you're a bit more of an arsehole when you do it, or maybe you half-arse it, so therefore you need to do it again, and it's sort of a cycle, and those cycles continue on. For instance, when you're fatter, fat plays a lot of role in like hormone production for men, for women too, but for men, because I know more of that side, if you're bigger, you might be inhibiting your testosterone, which is okay, but that might lead you to be more placid, and being more placid is going to make you fatter. Snowballs. When you're healthier, because exercise is easier and more simple for you, you're more likely to do it, so you're more likely to keep it off. Snowballs. And it sort of works that way throughout. So there are some reasons, hopefully you find them interesting or something connects with you. But how would you approach it even if you did? You see, if you follow or look into or anything like me basically, you probably overdid it a few times. You had those eras where you tried high intensity interval training, or CrossFit, or running, or jogging, and you'd gas yourself out over the course of a few weeks, and then you would kind of quit. You would take the day off, and then that day would turn into 2 days. Or you would start at 5 days a week and very quickly be 0. Because you're trying to do something your body just isn't built for yet. You haven't built that area of your body. And that's the same is true for people's advice. Coaches will give you advice, and they'll either err on 2 ways, either too light or way too heavy. If you go on YouTube and look up how to do this stuff, it's going to be someone who's been doing gymnastics since they were 12, who can run a marathon, or who can go on a bodybuilding stage, who are telling you, someone who can barely get out of bed some days because it fucking hurts your knees, how to get fit. You just don't have the body for it. Now obviously they modulate their advice based on, because they know they're talking to the general public, but it's still true that they don't really quite know you, because you have 20, 30, 40 years of food preferences and habits and hang-ups and unhealthy attachments and stuff like that that's going on in your brain when you approach your food, when you approach your diet, when you approach your exercise. You've got so much going on. You've got a lifetime of issues you kind of need to work on. That's where you're starting from. So the best diet isn't one that someone can name. If you end up on a diet that someone can name, like OMAD or keto or blah blah blah, that should be accidental. Because the way you should approach your diet is analysing what you like and what keeps you happy and what you can kind of remove without really sacrificing much of your emotions. Generally, I would split a diet into sort of 3 stages. The first stage is where we approach things that keep us happy and try and reduce or get the easy wins, reduce the things that we don't really care about. So for instance, if you really need a Starbucks with a caramel whipped cream macchiato in the morning, keep it for now. It might need to compromise eventually, but keep it. Fuck it, it keeps you happy. Why would you be upset? You know, when you graze on peanuts every day, but you don't really give a shit about it, make it popcorn or make it none. First one, then the other. You know, easy wins. The whole way you should approach your diet is a way that keeps you happy and understands you with your hang-ups and your mental issues and your preferences and your whatevers, and slowly work on those over time, but in ways that you're happy with, one at a time. See, a lot of people overdo it and then they underdo it because they quit. The way diet and calories work is, if you chose a diet and you chose an exercise plan and did it forever, there will be a weight where that stops, because you kind of have, in terms of fat, muscle, you kind of have the body you deserve by what you do with it, what you input and what you output, because that's all a calorie is. That's all a diet is outputting more than you're inputting, and some of what you input is stored as fat. The best diet is one that keeps you happy and is lifelong. So if you choose a diet that you are not happy with and is not lifelong, you will change it. And when you change it, being fat fucks that we came from, you're gonna go straight back up. Maybe not all the way, but most of the way. So the best way to approach it is to understand you and work on ways that keep you happy and healthier. Okay? There's 3 stages I would split a diet into. That's going to be the next video. It's going to be a lot more tips and tricks and stuff like that. But at no point am I going to be mentioning many numbers, right? Your numbers should be based on what you can do. That's up to you to learn and you to decide. That's the whole point of stage 1, is to learn. And there's a lot of pet peeve time. Those stages I mentioned are going to roughly map to obese, overweight, and normal BMIs. Now, if as you learn more about fitness and stuff and getting healthier, you're going to fall into people who tell you that BMI and stuff isn't accurate. And that's true. It's good enough though. The people who tell you that BMI isn't accurate are telling the truth, but you're hearing what they tell themselves. Because if they were skinnier, they would be sent to a therapist, not a bodybuilding stage. And they're probably white. They're definitely not Samoan or something that's super outlier. So yeah, BMI is good enough, and use that to track. In terms of tracking your weight, you should generally do it every day, but only take the average number, so the middle number, median, of every week, because as you lose weight, especially during the first few weeks of a diet, you're going to shed loads of water from your muscles, muscle glycogen, and you're going to feel like you are just doing fantastically, and that's going to slow down. So you're going to lose kilograms, and then pounds. And that's fine. You shouldn't be losing that fast anyway. And as you go along, there's going to be days where you've had a really good day of dieting, but the next day you wake up heavier than you were before. That's just water. It'll all work out in the end. We are basically machines following the laws of thermodynamics. That's all there is to it. There's no way to get around it. Join me next time when we're going to go into sort of more details. There's going to be more pet peeves and sort of more tips and tricks and sort of catching you more up to speed if you're interested. And if you're not interested, that's fine. One last pet peeve I do want to bring up is the obsession with health. You see, we have, and this is true for people coming from underweight and overweight, there's a lot of numbers and obsession and self-reflection in a negative way that you're doing when you're dieting or trying to gain weight. And there's a healthy ideal you out there. You don't have to reach that in one go. You may never reach that, and that should be fine. There's a lot of people who seem to mentally optimize to be the healthiest they can be, where that's not quite, doesn't really make sense. You should be the happiest you should be at the healthiest way you can be. Because you've got one fucking life, and hopefully it's not too short. If you get to a point of your diet or gaining weight where you're like, I can't really do it anymore without just not being happy, then fucking stop. Don't go any further. You've got one life, be happy in it. Maybe one day in a few months or a few years, when you're used to things at your current weight, you can work on going a bit further. But there's no rush. You know? Why are you going to spend your time hating yourself? Why are you going to spend your time obsessing over yourself and being unhappy when you could just be happy where you are? You know? Don't turn a healthy decision like gaining or losing weight into an eating disorder for no fucking reason. Don't be too obsessive. And don't blame yourself when you fuck up, because you will fuck up. The whole point of a diet is being consistent over a long time. You know, if I fuck up today, I'm not going to remember it next week, let alone next year. You know, it doesn't really matter. Because the good diet is lifelong and happy. Anyway, join me next time. If you like what I said, press the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. I'm out.